Okay, so I've recently become aware that NK has a public bug bounty program on Intigri. Um, it's interesting. It's interesting. Uh, the scope's interesting, and I think that there's definitely uh, a lot of room for them to benefit from public disclosures. And I think honestly, this is really great. I want to talk about the scope though, and I want to talk about what looks interesting to me based on knowledge from the past that's honestly kind of outdated. I wish I'd known about this sooner. I'll just say that. Um, that, that it's always good to know about things sooner. Their scope is interesting. The breakdown and kind of the impact they want to see on stuff is really nice. You usually don't see things broken down like this for programs. So the fact that they've actually put time into this is really good. So we see analytics.ninjakiwi.com domain hosts the API that consumed analytic events from our games clients. I guess they mean the word consumes, but I guess they're interested in like leaks of analytic data through that maybe, because like honestly like whatever, spoofing it will know whatever. API.ninjakiwi.com, this domain hosts the APIs for our mobile and PC games. Monitoring traffic through one of our game clients is the easiest method to investigate our main API. Don't I know it? Most of our applications are available for free on Steam. Please carefully read the in-scope section regarding what sort of exploits will be considered in scope for this domain. That's very interesting. I'd like to see more. Builds-auckland.ninja.kiwi, domain host builds of NinjaKiwi games for iOS devices. Areas of focus: the ability to download any valid build from this service will be considered a critical vulnerability. So I'm guessing this is their internal build shit. That's very neat. We will reward any enumeration of available game builds with a medium bounty. That's nice for a tier 1 asset. The table. Oh yeah, I'm not. You know what? I'm not even gonna speculate on the table because you'd have to have experience looking at programs tables to be able to speculate on that. .ninjakiwi.me. I didn't even know about this. NinjaKiwi.me is a subdomain which hosts many of NinjaKiwi's employee-only services. Any subdomain is eligible for the program. It's definitely an interesting one to look at. They, in the past, are definitely great at accidentally exposing internal stuff on the internet, and it's just like, dude, why? Dog, what? This is behind no auth. They've gotten a lot better, I'm sure. I'm sure everything's matured with the program, blah, blah, blah. .nkstatic.com, I know about that one. Domain hosts static content for NinjaKiwi games and website. Nice. Battles.tv. Battles.tv is used to share replays from our Balloons 2D Battles games. So that, interesting. Data.ninjakiwi.com. This domain hosts our public data API, which grants open access to in-game data from our biggest games. For example, player profiles, leaderboards, and event information is available through this domain. Yeah, I don't really... It's hard to say what scope for impact there you'd have. Maybe if you can like pop it or DOS it. I don't know, is DOS in scope? A lot of programs will put DOS out of scope because they don't want you to knock their, like non-volumetric DOS, like crafted payload that results in while mouse server explodes. That can get put out of DOS or out of scope, and I don't like that, but I understand why they would do that when they don't want their services taken down. But honestly, like, yeah. Notably, they have pretty standard, and this looks like honestly probably a pretty good program. This is, yeah. I don't really know much about Intigri. I know it's for like European stuff. ct.ninjakiwi.com, is this for contested territories? I don't know. mynk.ninjakiwi.com, this is the legacy domain which powers our Flash game, uses Flash AMF. Yeah, do they still have Flash AMF stuff running? I thought they took down most of that. Star.superarea.com domain will be considered out of scope unless it can be shown to allow an exploit on one of our tier 1 through 3 domains. This is definitely very interesting. Because like the ability to... I mean... It sounds like the kind of thing that if abused would likely have some pretty high impact stuff that could affect in-scope domains. But that's cool. Okay, wow, look at this. This is so excellent. In scope introduction, we are happy to announce our first bug bounty program on the Intigri Platform. We've done our best to clean most of our known issues, and now would like to request your help to spot the ones we missed. Wow. Dude, I really wish I'd been on this from the get-go, and I think this was kicked off in 2021. Whatever. That's kind of why I want to put a video out about this, just because it's super interesting, and I feel like people that watch this kind of thing might also be in the kind of space where they could get into this and do like white hat disclosures for finding cool bugs that are in scope and show the impact that they want to see against their products. Whatever, dude. I know this channel's about being a little bit of a bad boy, but I'm just saying, like, if everybody was a little bit of a good boy, that'd be really cool. Be a good boy. Don't be a bad boy. Alright, yeah. So worst case scenario, extracting secret keys for their cloud infrastructure, e.g. AWS keys. Maybe like some SSRF into cloud metadata that leaks a highly privileged AWS key for some instance that is allowed to, like, I don't know, pull from a key vault, and then you can actually pull, let's say, whatever. There's so many scenarios I can think of. Exfiltration of player PII, email address, hashed passwords, etc. Accessing internal administrator functionality for a main API. Yeah, dude. Yeah. Yeah. Any useful infrastructure information or APIs are key targets for this program. The majority of in-scope assets are protected by Cloudflare. If you found a vulnerability which may be exploitable, if Cloudflare was bypassed, please get in touch. We may accept these issues if they're exploitable after bypassing Cloudflare and are high enough severity. That's interesting, but honestly, like, I mean, it's always... that's cool. Game data consistently. Please be aware that we will mark exploits that manipulate a game's server-side state as informative or cap at low severity if the exploits do not lead to account compromise. PII leaks, access escalation, RCE-style exploit, etc. We've included some examples to help explain the type of exploits we won't accept or will limit to low. Injecting scores into a leaderboard, changing the state of a game lobby from public to private, increasing or reducing a player's bank balance more than a game client would normally allow. Examples of in-scope vulnerabilities. Ability to log into another user's account. Enumerating email addresses. Accessing any PII for users which isn't normally accessible to the game client. Accessing files or services on our servers which aren't normally accessible. These rules are mostly applicable to api.ninjakiwi.com, analytics.ninjakiwi.com, and ct.ninjakiwi.com. Feedback. We would like to help us, blah blah, whatever. Very nice information. They're very crucial for understanding what they want to see, what you don't want to waste time looking for and trying to report. And I don't want people to send them junk, because good lord, the junk that bounty programs get. And I'm sure they have sifted through so much junk. But it's very important to understand what they're looking for here. They're not looking for the ability to cheat in games. They're looking for, like global state modification, where, I don't know, say that you found something that allowed some modification of the contested territory configuration for all players in the whole game, and you could make it say funny words. Like, that would definitely be meaningful impact. That'd be something they want to see, where you're accessing files or services on their servers that aren't normally accessible. They don't want to see, yo, I can send a funny, like, multiplayer request and zero out everyone's bank. I don't know. Crashing their client would maybe be a low, it sounds like, because I feel like there's more impact there. But interestingly, they don't really mention DOS. Maybe they'll get into it in the out of scope section. Out of scope, game applications. All of our game client apps are out of scope. Bugs or security issues reported for the game clients themselves would be marked out as okay, so they don't want to see that. Game APIs are out of scope, yep. Please do not exploit any vulnerability against accounts other than your own. Yeah, that's normal. Domains, any domain that's not listed in the domain section is out of scope for this program. Okay. Application, API key disclosure without proven business impact. So this is just like API keys that are intended to be client side. You've got... Should I just say it? I mean, you've got people in places where $200 is a lot of money, and so they just spam these programs with junk reports generated by some tool they ran because they watched some YouTube video on how to make $500 a month in Hindi. I'm saying it. I'm not allowed to say that, but we're on the Kia channel, so you can say that. Vulnerabilities requiring the victim to use a modified game client. Well, game clients are out of scope, dude. Exploits which gives an account additional in-game currencies or items. Manipulating non-authenticated server-side data, such as some leaderboard scores, unless the manipulation can lead to account compromise. Okay. Gaining early access to an upcoming game, content, or promotional material, yeah. If that was in scope, they'd be in trouble because they're like really good at like not covering their asses there. I don't know, maybe they've gotten better. WordPress username disclosure, yeah, that's another one that the Indian bots, except they're not bots. Well, depends how you define consciousness. Listen. What do you call it? We'll just say the Mechanical Turks. Definitely like spam programs with where it's like, what's the impact? Pre-auth account takeover / OAuth squatting. Not familiar with that. I should look into that. Self-XSS that cannot be used to exploit other users. Yeah. Verbose message / file / directory listings without disclosing any sensitive information. Mechanical Turks. CORS misconfigurations on a non-sensitive endpoint. Mechanical Turks. Missing cookie flags and security headers. Mechanical Turks. CSRF with no or low impact. I'm not sure how much of that is like Mechanical Turkey or not, but presence of autocomplete attribute on web forms. That's reverse tab napping, but I think both of those are Mechanical Turks. Bypassing rate limits or the non-existence of rate limits. Yeah, they'll do that on like stupid stuff. Dude, these guys want like $50 so badly, it's crazy. Best practice violations, clickjacking without proven impact / unrealistic user interaction. CSV injection, sessions not being invalidated, logout enabling 2FA at C. Tokens leaked to third parties, anything relating to email spoofing, SPF, DMARC, or DKIM. Content injection without being able to modify the HTML, username / email enumeration, email bombing, HTTP request smuggling without any proven impact, homograph attacks, XML RPC enabled, so that's a WordPress Mechanical Turk issue. Honestly, some of those, that one's not even like, some of these are so bad it's not even Mechanical Turks, it's probably full-blown bots, because making the calls against, all of that can just be fully automated, and maybe you'll get like $50 from some program that doesn't throw your report out and drop your rep. I don't know. I don't know what the farms for that look like, but I'm sure nobody's up to any good with that, and it's very bad to do. Banner grabbing, version disclosure, yeah, not stripping metadata of files, lol, same site scripting. Huh? What? Huh? Okay. What? This sounds like something someone made up. Alright, yeah, let's look at HackerOne report on some program and see what some... Let's see. What? Okay, so host names that resolve to something local, where if you host a local payload, you have... Yeah, okay. So this makes sense, why this would be out of scope and what this is. Basically, like, if a hostname resolves to something local, and you had a victim on a network or on a host that is hosting something there, then you'd be executing JavaScript in the same context of that site. It's basically like, yeah. And so, you know, that could have impact, but it's definitely a crazy precondition where you'd have to, like, have things hosted coolly. That's cool, I like that. But, you know, I see why it's out of scope. But I like to think of scenarios where it could actually show significant impact. In theory, like, I don't know, if it resolves to some, like, private range and you've got guests on a network and they hop on something and... Yeah, I don't know, you're still going to have issues serving valid certs, I'll just say that. But whatever. Alright, subdomain takeover without taking over the subdomain. Yeah, that's... Yeah. Arbitrary file upload without proof of the existence of the uploaded file. Yeah, that's baller. Blind SSRF without proven business impact. Pingbacks are not sufficient. Yeah, I agree. Disclose / misconfigured Google Maps API keys. Yep. Host header injection without proven business impact. Yeah. General, in the case that a report vulnerability was already known to the company from their own test, it'll be flagged as a duplicate. Internal dupes suck, but whatever. Theoretical security issues with no realistic, yeah. Spam, social engineering, and physical intrusion. Yeah, I'm gonna roll up on the Auckland headquarters, and I'm gonna go like, I'm gonna go punch Rohan in the face until he tells me, until he hands me all of the iOS builds, and then I'm gonna report a bunch of critical bugs because they've got a Rohan getting punched in the face, and dude, he'd kick my ass. I think he's gained a lot of weight, like in a good way, baby. But whatever. DOS, DDoS, or brute force attacks. Okay, so DOS is out of scope. That's stupid because like non-volumetric DOS is it should be in scope. Whatever, you can report whatever you want. Sometimes they'll just be like, all right, yeah, sounds reasonable, but yeah, you got to be careful not taking out their shit, because then if you like take their shit out and they have an outage, I don't know, it's NK. I feel maybe they're less pussies than they used to be, but like honestly, like I feel like you could knock their shit out and they'd be like, oh rats, we got our shit knocked out. But I don't know. I mean, things are different, and they've been acquired. They're part of bigger. They're bigger now. Yeah, probably. Attacks requiring physical access. Yeah, I'm not going to New Zealand. Recently discovered zero-day vulnerabilities found in in-scope assets within 14 days after the public release of a patch mitigation may be reported, but usually are not. Dude, that's so gay. Like, if I want to do zero-day research on shit you use, and I'm doing the research to find shit you use, like, if I pop your shit, I popped your shit. Like, if I have a root shell on your server because I did zero-day, because I know you're using this component, so I did zero-day research on this component, and then I fucking popped your shit, like, pay me, bitch. Sorry. Like, you know, you can submit 0 days, but you just don't call them 0 days. Like, I've heard from people that are really good that actually works way more than you think. And in my experience, I'm just not gonna comment on it. Mobile, shared links through the system clipboard. Oh yeah, I don't fucking mobile attacks. Any URI leaking. I don't even care about mobile attacks. It's just not a space I'm like heavily in. I mean, I feel like it's an interesting space, like Android intent and web view abuse. Maybe doable on some NK apps, because I feel like they don't know what they're doing. But also, I feel like with the Unity based shit, actually, it's probably pretty on the rails. I don't know. I don't know how much native. I don't know how much like Unity like dependency inverted like platform agnostic shit they're doing that's just like inherently relatively hard to fuck up versus like like platform specific Android intent configuration. I feel like it's probably like on the reservation and chill. Let's see. Severity assessment. This program follows Intigri's contextual CVSS standard. Okay. Yeah. FAQ, where can we get credentials for the app? Wow. Where can I get credentials? I would like credentials for the NinjaKiwi app, please. For the domains api.ninjakiwi.com, you can sign up for a free account from inside any of our recent games. Most of these games are free to play and are available on mobile stores as well as Steam. For nk.ninjakiwi.com, you can create a free account in our NK archive application and then launch any of our legacy Flash games. Yeah, that's pretty sweet. So yeah, I mean, like, I recommend that people look into this that are like that have the technical background and have experience looking at NK's assets in the history. Like, I wish I'd known about this earlier. Like, so I'm just putting this out there so that people can know about it. And maybe you can try to like responsibly hack on their stuff and find some bugs and report them and get things fixed and maybe get paid. Maybe this can be the start of someone's bug bounty career, getting their foot in the door on a program like Intigri and then getting into, do they do private program invites? I don't know. Getting into the space and kind of understanding it and maybe looking at some other programs after having some success here just due to background. I think this is a great opportunity for a lot of people. So I want to put this out. and I think that this is a pretty good like introduction to the program. What I immediately want to do is start running some of these domains through like I want to run all of these through like subdomain finding tools. Then I want to like do some port scanning for applications. I think most of it's just going to be like web apps, probably with Cloudflare in front. Then I want to do some analysis of like URLs discovered on like Wayback Machine and other sources with like the Get All URLs tool. So just poking around that, I want to kind of hop on some of these and investigate what's going on them. Some of these might be trickier, maybe looking for API specs, which I doubt they have exposed because that would require that they document their APIs, and maybe they do that now. But they didn't used to do that. But there's a lot of scope to look at, I think, and there's a lot of interesting stuff here, and it's kind of clear what they want, and this seems like a solid program just based on like reading the page. So yeah, have fun and do the right thing. Stay right, stay white hat, right quit.